Okay, so in addressing this question, what kind of arguer do you want to become? I'm going to give a proposal. This is basically the proposal in the book. Okay, for what kind of arguer you should want to become. Okay, and it's a sort of arguer that follows a certain principle, and it's called this, the principle of charity. And what does it say? It says, always choose the best reconstruction of a given argument. Always choose the best reconstruction of a given argument. Now let's remind ourselves, what's a reconstruction of a given argument, like an argument reconstruction? Now, I'm using the word expression a little bit loosely, but it's where you take their argument and clarify their claim, the conclusion, and then you clarify the premises. Okay, and you're trying to choose the best way to interpret what they said. Okay. Now, I remember the first time I taught this at VCU a few years ago. A student in the back of the room was like, she kind of scoffed and she was like, why would we want to do that? Okay, and it's a fair question because let's say you're arguing with someone, you're going to choose the best way to interpret the other person. Okay, that's going to help them win the argument, not you. Okay, and so it's a fair question. I mean, so I'll write this on the board. Here's a question we should think about. Why should we, here's a question, first question. Why should we follow the principle of charity? Because there's another question floating around in the background when you're arguing with someone. If you're trying to make them sound better, I mean, there's this other question, which is, shouldn't we care about winning? Or shouldn't we? I'll just put, should we care about winning? And we're going to discuss this in Zoom class, but let me just tell you about an experience I had in talking with a friend who actually followed the principle of charity really well. Okay. As we talked, I was giving an argument, and I was kind of fumbling in my words, and the other person was like, Andrew, I think you're saying this. And then he took my claim in my reasoning and he actually said it even much clearer than I could have said. And he even gave like additional ways to support what I was saying. And as he said it, I was like, oh, that's so good. That's so good. And then I was like, oh, yeah, that sounds really good. Okay, this person was following the principle of charity. And when he said that, I was like, oh, yeah, I like this. And then made me think maybe there's something to this principle. Okay, so think about it for yourself and think about it about whether you want to follow this principle, to always choose the best interpretation, reconstruction of another person's argument. Okay, make them sound better. Um, but also think about, well, shouldn't I care about winning as well? Okay, so we'll discuss that in a bit. Let's go on to the next video.